What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is JJ Langer, back with another video for you guys. Today what I'm going to be bringing to you is why touching your toes sucks, right? This is kind of my new series about different things in fitness how they suck. So I'm going to show you the right way to stretch your hamstrings and other muscle groups that are even more important to stretch before you stretch your hamstrings. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright you guys, so the first thing that we need to talk about is how kind of the pelvis works together. So your hamstrings connect to the back side of the pelvis and your hip flexors connect to the front side. So I'm going to be talking to you about how to stretch both of those and help to correct your posture and why touching your toes is not the right way to stretch the hamstrings based on that. So if you come around to the side, it'll be a little bit easier to see how the hips kind of work. So what your hip flexors do, the hip flexors, they connect into your thigh, into your quad, and they run up and connect to your pelvis, and some even go up into your lower back, okay? And then the hamstrings are coming from the back of your knee into the bottom of your pelvis right here. So as you are stretching your hamstrings, that is gonna allow your hips to push back this way farther, right? Because this is stretching here. Now, most people have poor posture with their hips anterior pelvic tilt, that's what it's called. Because typically your hip flexors, when you're sitting all day, your hip flexors get really tight, and so then it pulls on your hips and causes your hamstrings to be tight, and so then you feel the need to stretch your hamstrings, right? But really what you need to stretch first is the hip flexors, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So first of all, the first reason why touching your toes sucks is because most people do that and don't stretch their hip flexors, and you need to stretch your hip flexors even more than you need to stretch your hamstrings. So what you're gonna do to stretch your hip flexors, you're gonna be down split squat here. You're gonna push your hip down into the ground, and then you're gonna reach up overhead this way, right? Your knee is not quite on the ground, but you're reaching like this, okay? Switch legs this way. And then the other one, you can drop your knee down to the ground. Again, it's all about pushing that pelvis forward and down, and then leaning back, twisting over to the side. This is gonna help a ton with lower back pain. A lot of people think stretching the hamstrings helps with lower back pain. It does, but the hip flexors actually run into your lower back. So that's often what causes a lot of the lower back pain. So the next thing is then how to stretch the hamstrings. So when you're stretching your hamstrings, so many people, they go like this. And they come down to stretch their hamstrings and they're going like this, right? And they got their knees straightened out. But if you look at my posture in this moment, this is terrible. Like, look at my shoulders. My shoulders are literally like way out in front. Like, that is not what you want posturally at any time, right? And so the better way to stretch your hamstrings rather than touching your toes, I want you to think more keeping your hips in that kind of a pelvic tilt almost. Drive your hips back and keep your posture strong, right? We always want to have good posture even when we're stretching. So posture strong, bend the knees a little bit, just lean forward and don't reach. Like, I can reach down here if I want, but instead I'm just gonna keep my posture strong, reach down this way, and you'll feel it a lot in the hamstrings, especially with the bent knees, and it's gonna allow you to stretch them more effectively, but also continue to build that strong posture. So, to wrap things up, what I wanted to show you guys today was how the anatomy of your hips works a little bit, and why it is so important that you stretch your hip flexors more even than your hamstrings. So I would stretch your hip flexors in those 2 different stretches a day, and then just the hamstrings in the one, because as you stretch your hip flexors, it's going to correct that pelvic tilt because your body wants to be here, and as you stretch the hip flexors, it'll get here, and that allows the hamstrings not to have to be so stretched all the time, okay? So it's gonna correct that, and then as you stretch your hamstrings, that's gonna allow you to reduce that back pain, be more athletic. Anytime we're an athlete, we wanna be able to be mobile, flexible, things like that. So this is gonna help your hips to open up a little bit. But I hope this helped you guys. I know it's kind of a stereotypical exercise that a lot of people do. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this series, is to make videos about things that a lot of people do wrong and why it's wrong, why it sucks, right? Why it's not something that you should do, and other things that you should be doing instead of them, just like the cardio video, just like this touching your toes video. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, like it, subscribe down below, turn on post notifications. I'm coming out with videos every Wednesday and Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time. So check those out, and I will see you guys next time.